There we go. Now let's turn up this, or turn it down, and lower. Still needs to be a little lower. No! There we go. Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. No, absolutely shameless shilling of this. Actually, no, I don't need to do that. I do want to make sure this is loaded properly. Beautiful it is. I'm just kind of different. What can I say? I'm just kind of different. Maybe I do want to shamelessly shill it. Do. You know what? There's nothing saying I can't do this. Q&A if anyone has NU questions they want to ask. Bop. And then I leave. Because I'm just different like that. Let's go. Alright. So, I'm gonna get this down here. This down here. And we gotta set everything up, make sure we're all good. Make sure the chat's out here. Good afternoon to you too, Mr. M. And Choco Taco. Appreciate the content. Yeah, Mr. Bread, you can indeed still give questions, but I am pulling from this page here, as y'all see. Yeah, if you want to, just ask more, you know, whether it's in chat, I'll try to get to it. That's probably going to be the easiest way to do it, because I doubt that I would refresh this page. Do I think Diplin's going to be in you? I think at a point, Diplin will definitely be in you. I just don't imagine it staying OU forever. I think there's a high chance it'll be OU once the October tier shifts hit, because, well, you know, there was the Joey video that popped off pretty hard. I don't think it at least showed enough in that vid to maybe get some people's curiosity piqued, but we'll see. What's your favorite and least favorite in current NU? My favorite is probably one of the Sneasels. I've just enjoyed both of them a lot. My least favorite is gonna be something like Blissey or Umbreon that just sits around being a boring fat piece of trash. I mean, honestly, I don't have anything that's a favorite in the sense of like, oh yeah, I just really like this mon. It's all just what's fun to use. Sneasel's been hella fun to use, but like, the boring special wall stuff that just sits around aimlessly hoping to just outlast, it's just always so boring. Wow, the bitrate's lower than supposed to recommend. I don't care. Open widget. What does this do? What would you like to tell me? Use a stream bitrate of 4,500 kilobits? I'll think about it, YouTube. I'll think about it, you know. We'll consider. We'll consider changing that at another point. As a fairer Pokemon Journal, what city do you think's good on Cramorant? So it's probably just gonna be what we ran last gen in NU. So something like Surf, Roost, Defog, and then you've got your pick of what flying move you want to run. Hurricane's good. Brave Bird was good last gen. And it probably will still be good, because Gulp Missile with that defense drop, you actually get some good mileage out of Brave Bird. Just something like that. I'm hoping Cramorant's good again this gen, but I've got no clue. Also, just because I do have the little thing up here, little members goal, reminder that that is there for, when we get to 10 members, I've got a little video plan for it of using LC Mons in NU, because it sounded really fun, so it'll be a full team of LC. If y'all are interested in that, well, hey, join us a member, get us closer to 10. And I've got some goals for afterwards, too, so you know what? If you want to get reveals of what those other goals are, then join us a member. Any RU mons that I think would be interesting if they fell to NU, and then also from Detroit Leprechaun, are there any mons I think will drop from NU into PU? So with RU, I'm gonna piss off my co-tier leader here. Vaporeon would obviously change the complexity of NU quite a bit. It's another Wish Passer, but more specifically, it's like the best water type check we could get. Oh, and do LC banned mons count? They might. They might count. I haven't decided yet because, for example, if I were to use something that's like Scyther, that's kind of boring. So I'm gonna have to think about how I want to analyze what constitutes LC mon. Because I haven't fully decided if I want it to just be, literally, it is a baby Pokemon that, you know, has no pre-evolution, or what. Also, yeah, like what Nightbot said, follow the Twitter. And what M said. We got 10 viewers in here and only 3 likes? Hold on. I know I know how to do start a poll. Have you left a like? Question mark. Yes. No. I'll fix that now. There we go. Great poll. I've truly got the best of polls. Oh wait, I can only end the poll, I forgot. There we go. Trapinchid Trick Room sounds insane. Math ain't math, and that's what I'm saying, Nick. And why was Typhlosion so bottom in viability? I mean, it's really just that you have to run a choice item on it to get consistent mileage, and competition with Salazzle is a real thing. Salazzle isn't reliant on the choice item to just pop off hard. It also has more that it can do, so something like Typhlosion, you're stuck running these choice sets, and while those are really good, they do have limitations. They require a lot of support to get going, even if their peaks are quite high. There's like... Oh, the floor for those sets is like down in the dirt. Very, very low. Is Drown a place that anyone gets a Violite? Or Power Creep keep it PUBL like last gen? Should still be good. I mean, there's not much to change for Duraludon between generations, so I don't think there's anything that would keep it from being bad. Or what that would keep from bad. That would make it just like super bad all of a sudden. I'd say we're gonna still end up with a very good Duraludon spot in the meta. I guess you Dragon and Salazzle, hopefully never. But you know what? I'm always open to some dumb stuff. Oh boy, 25 comments. I'm gonna start trying to get through these. I'll still look at chat, of course, and try to catch the questions I see there, but we're gonna look through the questions here now. So, Real A1 Gallade, what was your initial motivation for starting competitive Pokemon? How and when did I get into it? And what are any major regrets I've got? So, powerful question. I have lots of answers. The initial motivation, I used to, of course, this kind of goes into when I first got into it. This would have been around 2010, 2011. I was just, you know, scrolling YouTube at the time. Of course, I'm a big Pokemon fan, so I watched a lot of the walkthroughs and Let's Plays that used to go on back then. And eventually I saw comp mons from, I think, probably Pimp Knight or Hayden. And I was like, huh, that's pretty interesting. So I started watching that, and Hayden at the time played a lot of, I guess, what counted as NU. Not how I got into NU, of course, but it was what I got early exposure to. And I was like, wow, competitive Pokemon sounds kind of cool. And from there, I believe through Hayden, is where I got big access to Shofu. And Shofu is who really got me into competitive Pokemon, because he's funny as hell. And he was, you know, really good. And I will always... This goes into the regret regarding my own experience. I have gotten to face Shofu an entire 1 time on Pokemon Showdown. And Poe, you know, NU Room Mod, can attest to this, because he just joined a spectating battle of me, and he's like, wait a minute, isn't this guy Shofu? And I'm like, yeah, I think it is. And it was in the early bit of Sword and Shield OU, and I fucking brought Stall. I was just abusing Hard Stall at the time. I was like, huh, how good is this? So the one time I've ever gotten to face him was when he was trying to get back into competitive a bit in Gen 8. I beat his ass pretty badly too. I was like, oh no. It can't be like this. This can't be the damn way. So that's the regret. And yeah, I think that answers the question pretty well. And then when are we seeing Wigglytuff? I think I actually have a Wigglytuff video from way back. But I'd have to check. Sino96, agree with Big Shot. What is that? Is Big Shot a comment? I've got no clue. Social vids are great to talk and pump out. Like, what DLC means for any best NU fight of all time? Or just... Okay, maybe this was just quite... Oh, this was, video idea stuff. Alright, I get it now. Anj Kumar asks, what are your early childhood memories of Pokemon? Love your vids. Lots of love from India. Man, lots of love going out to India. The presence of India on Smogon is something I've always kind of disrespected a lot. Same with China. Both of these regions have incredibly dedicated player bases, and it's really cool to see. In early childhood memories, I mean, I remember getting Pokemon Emerald and not knowing how to save. That was funny. I also remember, as a result of that, my first ever starter was actually Trico, but when I learned how to save, the starter I had in that save file was Mudkip. And I remember when I eventually got it to level 100 as a little Swampert, you know? That was the first one I ever had. Also, this playlist is on loop, isn't it? Yeah, I accidentally looped the video. There we go. Now we'll actually get different music. I remember getting a Swampert level 100. I remember getting my Rayquaza as well to level 100. And I remember... This is a funny one. I learned how to run in the game after I had already beaten the main story at least a couple times. One day I was just walking around and I held down B and I started running. I was like, yo, have I always been able to do that? That was insane. Hey, yo, Vegeta with the gifted membership. Shout out. I appreciate you. Cooler supporter, too. Ooh. That's a spicy one. Let's fucking get it, man. Big homie shout out to Vegeta for that. I appreciate it. I'm glad as well you came in as I was exposing myself for not knowing how to run in Pokemon. That's insane. We hitting these goals. We will. We will be getting up to 9 and then 10 and then maybe past that. I have no clue when this thing's gonna update to say that it's what's it called? To say what it's at the actual number it is. But you know what? I'm sure it'll happen. I feel like I've got another dumb memory. Oh, yo, I've got a... This isn't as dumb. This is a sad memory. I remember I caught a shiny... What was it? A shiny Drowsy in Heart Gold Soul Silver. And I was charging my DS. And I didn't save immediately after catching it. My brother accidentally knocked my DS out of my hand and it froze, and I was so sad. And then we have my first ever shiny experience, which was I was playing one of the Gen 4 games. It was either Diamond, Pearl, or Platinum. So, I don't know when this is gonna update. God, that's annoying. And I was in the little trophy garden area, and I caught a Roselia that was shiny. And I remember running into it, and it was a different color, and I'm like, huh. Very weird. Also, I think I gifted 2 members, I think? I can't tell. I don't know how YouTube works like this. But you know what? I appreciate you, Fab. I appreciate you. Here, I got an idea for how I can get this to update. Maybe I just have to open stream labels again. What if I do this? What if I need to have it open in the background the whole time? And I say restart session. Session restarted. Yeah, that did not work. That did not work. Let's go. Anyhow, it's fine. It'll probably update eventually. If not, then look. I've got his bet. I got all I know to do. That is continue this Q&A. But yeah, those are a couple of my probably most profound memories that I got. Another being, I remember facing Cynthia in Diamond versus facing her in Pearl, and always being like, wow, it's so much easier in Pokemon Pearl because Palkia isn't slow as hell and actually beats her Garchomp, and stupid Dialga keeps getting one-shot by Earthquake. Short Leprechaun, that is insane to not notice that for that many years. Better late than never, though. Better late than never. Alright, let's see. Current members. What if I go to filters? Yeah, also, I have no clue why it's so blurry for that one. I promise that is not supposed to be this way. Is there a way to fix it? Man, I'll look into it eventually. I think part of it's just when I was trying to get the sizing right, it messed up. Well, members goal. I can edit this now. Once I figure out where the, there it is, properties. Let me check real quick. What I set the next member goal at? It might have been 25. I need to confirm this, though. This is not the right Discord channel. That will not be helping me. Members goals idea. So, 25. So, apparently the next member goal is at 25. And if we get up to, I don't know, 11? Yeah, this is annoying. Properties. What if I, Here, I got this. Did that do anything? Did me opening that help? No. Oh, you know what I can just do, though? Watch this. Y'all ready for me to pop off? Remove. Yes, I'll remove current members. And I'm gonna add a new one, so this is gonna be text, right? Add existing. Ah! That's the wrong one, guys. Add. Text. Current members, smile. And we go read from file, alright? So this is how it goes, right? You gotta go read from file. And then you gotta actually open the file and not just close it immediately. See, this is why I'm truly one of the all-time great people. Total YouTube sponsor count. Right, so it's for some reasons... Ah, there it is! Look at that, now it's updated. But as you can see, for some reason it's quite large. Oh, there we go. Once again, shouts Vegeta. Really appreciate you with those 2 gifties. You didn't know shinies at all, that's insane. Alright, next question. We got from Drachma, 1923. Hopefully you're not born in 1923. I didn't know I had sway in that demographic. What would be my ranking of every generation's NU up to this point in the meta? So, I'm going to leave out RBY and GSC here because I cannot be trusted to rank those without calling them terrible. They are not the meta for me, and I do not want to, you know, bad talk tiers that I just personally don't like because I don't like the mechanics of the gen. So I'm leaving those 2 to the side. I appreciate the people that are trying to make those tiers as good as they can be because God knows it will not be me. So, my favorite 2, and I don't really have a great way of deciding which is a bigger favorite of mine, are Gen 3, ADV, and Gen 7, Sun and Moon. Sun and Moon is when I really got into NU and became super integrated into the tier, and Gen 3 is the one that I first ever played in a major team tour, and it's the one that I've played the most in a team tour. The only other one I've played in was Sword and Shield. And wow, those are not... Yeah, these are really not real Pokemon. I think it's for the best that Baton Pass doesn't have real Pokemon for ADV NU, because otherwise it would be OP. 1,000,000%. But those 2 are my favorite, and as I go down the line of tiers, I would probably say second place, or like tier 2, is like Gen 4 and Gen 9. Emma Vegeta, good to see you. Hope your work is going smoothly. Once again, thank you for contributing to our member goal. But I would say probably Gen 4 and Gen 9, and it's weird, because I don't think Gen 4 is very good. But Gen 4 NU has a special place in my heart, because it is the one... So for NU Classic, we hold this tournament every year. It's made up of a single tournament of every old gen of NU, except when we try and make the tour smaller, because we've got other tours that do past gens too. And then you go into playoffs based on the points you get from these individual tournaments. And Gen 4 Classic Cup, I have won before. And it's how I ended up winning NU Classic that year too, because if I didn't win that cup, I wasn't going to make playoffs. So, holds a very special place in my heart for that alone, and because I loved some of the teams I got to use. Gen 9 I have pretty highly as well, just because I've enjoyed the tour, or not the tour, the gen so far. Even if I think Terrastalization's kind of OP, and I probably prefer a gen without it, it hasn't negatively impacted my enjoying of the generation. Also, let me know if the music's a little loud. It is coming up in my mixer is a little bit loud, so if it needs to be toned down a bit, just let me know. And then Tier 3, which is probably just the gens I don't really play. That's like Gen 5, Gen 6, and Gen 8. Gen 8 I just think's boring. Gen 5 I've always disliked because I think it's missing a lot for what a generation would need. And then the like top tier mons are so broken, it just feels unpleasant to play. Gen 6 I've legit just always been bad at, though. So with Baton Pass chains, so Pokemon tiering, we call it, transitive, I guess is the right word. Where bans from OU apply to UU and RU and NU, etc. If a tier above you bans something, it's banned from your tier. But that doesn't apply in some older gens. So like Gen 3 is an exception to this. So OU has a Baton Pass restriction in place. UU might as well, but NU doesn't because it's just never been a problem for us. And because the generation, the metagame is frozen, meaning tier shifts just don't apply to it anymore, we don't actually ever worry about these upper tier bans impacting our metagame, because it's not going to drop anything. I don't have to worry about, like, Mr. Mime all of a sudden being NU. Not that it would be, but you get the point. That being one of the mons that I think was actually Ubers at a point, while simultaneously being UU or something. Very, interesting. Might be paying to make Baton Pass legal, but we'll make a draft rule so you can only use momentum but not stats passing. So Owen, what they would probably do for that as a, I honestly don't think it'd be hard to code based on what I've seen get coded on the PS. I think how it would work is they would just say Baton Pass is allowed on a moveset so long as there's no way to boost stats with that Pokemon. So I think that's how you'd implement it. Alright, so next question's from James Jones, TS5FL. What's been your favorite part of being a PokeTuber, TM, and what's been your least favorite? My favorite has just been getting to interact with other PokeTubers. So, of course, I grew up a huge fan of Joey, and now I'm a friend of Joey, so that's a pretty cool transition to make. And I'm also gonna give another thing that's been one of my favorite. Just getting to interact with people's really cool. Because I'll be honest with y'all, I've not always been the most the most sociable person throughout my life, so this has definitely made me a lot more open, I would say. And I've felt that with interactions with people in real life too. So that's been really fun. The least favorite, I'll be honest, has been figuring out how to stream more frequently, because when I'm talking for hours on end without the ability to pause, like I could pause the stream right now, but all that would be is me putting my headset down and walking away. I don't think that makes for very entertaining stream quality. And as if I'm streaming for like 2 hours, I mean, since I don't stream a ton, and it's not like I'm uploading hours-long content all the time, my throat gets really sore at a point. So just trying to figure out that part of it, that's probably the least favorite, because it's kind of tough. And yeah, there is probably a lot you'd have to ban in conjunction with BP. Which is why, I mean, along with the complex ban stuff always being kind of looked at with a side eye, since it's hard to find a happy median where you aren't getting way too complex, leading to potential bans down the line following bad logic, while also still banning properly and not going, overzealous with how much you ban. It just ends up being cleaner to full-on ban Baton Pass and just say, well, we lose a good, potentially cool tool, but we keep a really broken element out of the metagame. And then, okay, Josh Cook, 6431, asking, would I ever take part in a Wi-Fi draft league? The answer is probably no. And the reason is I do not play the in-game one bit. I have played every game still, except some of the side games. But the issue for me is I don't enjoy playing Pokemon like that anymore for the new games. They're just not as fun to me. So I play older games still and enjoy them. But the new games, I just can't be bothered to, which means, obviously, if I'm going to try and get my Pokemon to use the Draft League, good luck. And, of course, genning is not looked at in the most fond of ways, and I'd rather not get, embroiled in some drama of, oh, he gens. I'm sure it's already looked at badly by some people that I use Pokemon Showdown. And to those people, I say, you're silly, and don't talk to me. If it was a PS Draft League, which I technically have participated in, I'd be fine to do it. Oh, okay, good, everyone gens. Well, maybe then. I don't know how to gen, but I'm sure I could get someone to help me. But yeah, I don't know if I'd ever do it, because I think there'd be a lot of extra work that I'm unaware of how to do right now. What would get you to play in-game again if the game was good for once? I mean, Scarlet has not been bad when I've played it. It's just hard. These games don't hook me like they used to. And I don't know if that's just part of me getting older and growing out of the Pokemon games like that. And still playing the old ones because like nostalgia reasons, or if it's something else. I just would need a game, I think, that does something truly enticing. It's gotta hook me within the first 10 minutes or so. I think Scarlet did a good job to get me willing to play it more. I've frankly just struggled to go pick up the Switch. Same thing with like Legends of Arceus. The format is really cool. I like the open world, and it is something I actually would like to do more of. I've just gotta, you know, care enough. And yeah, Chilly Reception's a really cool way of having essentially a pivot move. And hey, awesome friend, hope your day's been good. Slade6609 asks, what one or two moves / things would get Sandaconda moved up a tier? So they're trying to get Sandaconda out of Inu. This was asked as well back when Sandaconda was absolutely chimping all over Inu. So, Sandaconda, what? I think if we're talking just general things, it's mainly a matter of competition. There's better ground types. And a lot of it comes from special bulk of them not being so bad. So something like a Mudsdale has more well-rounded bulk overall. Sandaconda, even with Shedskin Rest, you know, that ends up not being enough to justify it, because basically any special coverage one-shots it. We've seen the Jolteon Terra Blast Ice Calcs. We know what happens. That Mon isn't living. So, something like that. Sandaconda, if it got like a stat buff, or just didn't have better competition in the tier above it, I definitely could see rising. Or even like, if Sand was viewed as viable in a tier above it, and there wasn't something like Gigalith or Hippowdon to set it, maybe you'd see Sandaconda rise for that. Also, yeah, I like Showdown more than Wi-Fi, because I can just skip turns if I'm getting annoyed. I don't have to sit through animations. It's quite nice. And even the animations I do have to sit through aren't as long. Alright, next question from Simros? Hopefully that's right. 94. Will you follow the Inu Pokemon down to PU or embrace the former RUs next month? So, we've gotten our former RUs, and I've continued playing Inu. I mean, I'm gonna stick to this tier, of course, because I am the tier leader. But I will still play other formats when I want to, but no, I'm not, like, attached to the Pokemon we've had at any state of the meta. Also, yeah, a big thing for in-game too is just having to wait on the other person feels a lot worse because I can't get another game if I want to. Rising Toast Cheesecake 4730 asks, how German is this man? How have I never heard of him? You've probably not heard of me as a German because I am not German. I mean, technically I've got German, you know, ancestry, but I myself am not German, you know. I could give you some German out loud. Hallo, ich bin Lord Rabia. That's the thing. Ich habe Zeit. How long? 10 Jahre Deutsch gelernt. Studiert. I forget. There's context to those two words, but yeah, I've learned German. It's really all there is to it. Alejandro Talavera 6736. Enjoy your vacation. Thank you, I did. How did you end up on the NU Council? What does the day-to-day work look like? Well, I ended up on the NU Council because it helps to have a friend as the TL at the time. But also, I had been a long-time poster for the sub-forum. I did a lot of work for the NU analyses that you could see on Smogon's Pokédex. So I had shown my metagame knowledge through that. And day-to-day work, I mean, honestly, it just depends on the time of the month. If we're talking earlier in a month when there's tier shifts, there will be a lot of talking with other council people about how the tier shifts are. Are any of them broken enough to where we need to maybe have a vote? Do we need to just, you know, talk about anything really about the tier? You know, if it's later in the month, maybe it's more, hey, I've got to, you know, consider putting together a suspect test post. Something like that. Generally, it's a lot of shit posting. Generally, it is just a lot of shit posting, yeah. Danny being the prime suspect. I also don't think I did see that post rain down. I may not be the German hero that you all need or deserve, but I can at least say some words here and there and interact with the German PS room. Awesome Frame 97.9 asks, what is your least favorite Pokemon to fight against in Ranbats, and why is it Salazzle? Well, great question, Mr. Awesome Frame. I'm glad you posted about it a month ago. Salazzle's up there. I can say that for certain. I don't know why every gym it has to be stupid Protox Protect, not Protox Protect, Protox sub with one attack. I wish they would give it sets that weren't just unfun to face. Otherwise, it's probably, and this is a Gen 9 issue especially, any good setup sweeper. Because, okay, I am going to turn down this a little bit. I think this is like a slight bit too loud. Oh, that's way too quiet now. That might be quieter, I have no clue. Anything that's a really strong setup sweeper, because Terastallizing could just take stuff out of control way too quickly. It's not too fun. Oh wait, alright, we're so back. Thought I accidentally tabbed out the music there, that would have been funny. Yeah, still right after getting beat down by a Salazzle. Yeah, that's the special. Get put down by a Pokemon, immediately call it OP. I do that all the time, even as NUTL. I will get beat down by some dumb stuff on ladder and PM eternally and be like, yeah, we need to ban this Pokemon. It's very OP. It beat me once because my opponent outpredicted the living hell out of me. It's honestly a Rabia special. Zanato asks, nobody asked this yet, why'd I decide to become a YouTuber, and how'd you end up collabing with Mr. Joey? So, why'd I decide to do it? Honestly, I was just kind of bored, and I was like, huh, that could be fun. What if I became a PokeTuber? So I did. I just uploaded some random Pawniard HO one day, and I kept uploading after the fact. Been uploading for multiple years now. How did I get to collab with Joey? So, we gotta go back to the Smogon Champions League. And my friend Jordy was managing at the time. And Joey was who they drafted to play Inu. And they ended up, I guess, not drafting much support, or just deciding they needed more support. So by about week 3 or so, Jordy PM'd me and he's like, hey, you want to help for our Inu slot? And I was like, sure. And it was Joey, and I'm like, huh, that's interesting. So I joined the Discord. Of course, Joey goes undefeated once he has my help, because I am the best Inu support in, you know, the tier. Talkie who? Danny who? It's me. But helped him out there, and obviously we got to know each other through that. And from there, it's, you know, it's been just consistent talking every now and then with them. We record when we got the time to. What year was that? It was the meta when we had Duraludon Ninjask Gallade, so I think that's 2020. Yeah, that would have been the 2020 metagame. Because I remember Thievul for like 2 whole weeks being looked at as really strong, and then immediately dropping off after that, because everyone looked at Thievul and they're like, wow, this Pokemon's trash. Alright, we got a question from Perla asking what the most underrated mod for Inu is in literally every single generation. So was Snake Draft, yeah. Oh yeah, it would have still been Snake Draft at the time, but yeah. I mean, it's essentially SCL. Just different format. So Gen 1 and 2, I legit have no clue about the metagame at all. I don't. Gen 3 most underrated mod is kind of hard, because the centralizing on the tier, basically anything on the VR that is A rank or above, you've got a really good chance of seeing. And I think anything in A- is still pretty properly rated. If I were to say something that's underrated, maybe? Oh, God. I got an answer. I think it's probably Mawile at this point. Because Mawile fell off quite a bit at a point. Just because Matang solidified itself as the best steel type. Mawile is a lot more vulnerable to any special attacker. Batang can still check the same physical attackers. But at this point, I really like Mawile, especially with Pikachu's Resurgence, because Baton Pass support's so good. And just having a nice check to the litany of flying and normal types in Inu is quite powerful. Gen 4, I'd probably say it's like... God. A lot of these gens I don't play, so it's hard for me to give too much of, like, a stance. Man, I'm gonna still say Gen 4 is like Sharpedo. The mon's A+ rank or something, but Lead Sharpedo is cheating. It'll always be underrated until it's banned. I don't care what anyone has to say. I know this for a fact, that mon should be banned. Gen 5 most underrated, I'm gonna say is... Ooh. I'm gonna say Miltank, because I have seen that stupid curse set pop off 5 too many times. And until people keep using it and fishing for wins with it, I will say it's underrated. Gen 6, I don't play at all, I'm gonna be honest. I have no knowledge in just like, I don't know. Rock Polish Torterra is underrated, because just beat the Xatu forehead. Gen 7, ooh, Gen 7's Typhlosion, that's my answer. I'm sticking to it, too. I think Typh is incredible in Gen 7, and by incredible, I mean, like, raise it to, like, B rank, please. The thing with Typhlosion is it's always going to struggle to be, like, truly good. Both it and Charizard I'm going to put in the same umbrella here, because there's the Incineroar tax you pay every game, which is you have to justify to yourself why you're not using Incineroar. And then secondly, there's the Aerodactyl tax you have to pay, which is, okay, how do I deal with Aerodactyl trapping my Pokemon and eliminating it very easily? And so mons like Charizard and Typhlosion, which obviously both get handily checked by Aero, really can struggle to find teams to be used. Charizard has a bit better of a spot here because it's, one, got, you know, an Omni Boost setup sweeper set. That's really good. And there's a very defined team that's gotten some tournament use with it. So people know where to put Charizard on a team if they want to use it because they could just take that team. It's like Charizard with, like, Eject Button, Slowking, and a Sneasel to trap stuff. With Typhlosion, I think you take it a bit similar of a route, where you're just trying to trap the Slowking, and from there, Typh can just spam Eruption. You do, like, Aerodactyl, Typhlosion, Xatu, so you've got the Magic Bounce. You could even beat Defog Xatu if you want. You could put a Blastoise on the team if you want. And it helps because the Fire Resistant Inu, most of them just get 2-hit KO'd. Especially if Stealth Rock are up. Specs Typh is claiming basically every time it gets out there. Gen 8 underrated. I'm going to say Golurk. I think Golurk's just really, really powerful. And yeah, I mean, kind of comes back to the gen we just talked about where there's a tax where you got to justify them on. Golurk's got the tax of, hey, how do you justify using this mon over Mudsdale in a gen where people will run sets specifically to make Poltergeist not get used? But I still really value Golurk. I think it does put a lot of strain on building. I think it's pretty cool as well. And it does help that a lot of mods run Protect anyway to scout out stuff like Movolt. So you can find extra turns to get it in if you're not facing non-choice Scarf Rotom Mo. And again, I fully understand why Golurk isn't better. But I think it's really cool. I think it's really good. I like the Rock Polish spell tag set. It's pretty strong. Yeah, I think Decidueye is pretty underrated as well. I think people got too comfortable checking it with, like, Guzzlord when they forget that Banded U-turn does, like, 40 or something. That's not a small amount to have to take. And then currently in Inu, the most underrated mon, I'm gonna say Hisuian Sneasel's kind of underrated right now. Because Toxicroak gets so much attention, and rightfully so. Toxicroak's amazing. And then even regular Sneasel takes at least a bit of the spotlight off of Hisuian, since you can still get great Sword Stance sets going, but you have priority, so you don't have to worry about anything ever outspeeding you. You just shard it and pop it. Hisuian Sneasel people I think just aren't using too much right now. I still see it a good amount on ladder, but it's almost always with a team that's very clearly from the previous metagame, before we had Pokemon home tier shifts come our way. I think it's just in a weird spot. There's Croak, which is literally a direct competitor. Same with Sneasel from Johto. And then there's a ton of fighting types we got from that tier shift. So there's competition everywhere. I just still think the Mon is similarly as threatening as it was back then, but benefits from Mismagius being, like, I think Mismagius at least the most common ghost type, unless I'm forgetting someone else. Mismagius you just dunk on with Terra, Terra Grass Trailblaze, because it's not very bulky at all. And then Sandaconda usage is at least a little bit lower. Still really common, but not the same level of common as it once was. And regular Rotom is a lot less common, and that was at least a Mon that could give you a bit of trouble, because you weren't one-shotting it with Trailblaze, and then it could get Will-O-Wisped, and it's just, it goes downhill from there. So I'd probably give those Mons. Nick Biddle 2983, how to team build in general, or an in-depth analysis of any team building in this meta. So I think this was like video idea. I can like at least give an answer to this. So, team building in general, I think there's two questions you ask yourself at the very beginning of team building. One of them is, what do I want to use? And the other is, what kind of team do I want to build? And then make sure that the two go together and make sense. So, like, if I say Houndstone Hyper Offense, well, I should stop team building then and there, because Houndstone is not a Hyper Offense Mon. So, like, you could start off with, okay, I want to use Tauros Paldia Blaze today. And then you put that in your builder and you decide which specific set you want to use. And then ask yourself what kind of archetype you want to use. Just so you have like an idea of where the team should go composition-wise. Like, if I'm building offense, I probably shouldn't have 4 very defensive Pokemon on the team. But if I'm going offense, if I'm going offense and pair it with like 4 other attackers that are at least generally offensively leaning, that makes a lot more sense. Make sure, get your momentum that you need. And then whenever I start off with, like, a Pokemon I want to use, I always look at, like, something that forms a nice core with it. So, like, if I got a setup sweeper in my builder, I'm going to think about, alright, what Mons are commonly switching into the setup sweeper here that could, maybe just stop it from setting up and beating their team down? And then 2, what's an offensive partner that puts a lot of pressure on those and prevents them from stopping the sweep? So, I have a team that I used on a live going out later today that is Swords Dance Sneasel, regular Sneasel, plus Swords Dance Toxicroak. Because they've got some pretty decent synergy on that front. And I figure as well, hey, I got 2 Mons with Swords Dance. One of them damn well better win this game for me. So, that's like the general idea behind it. Just make sure you set your direction in a very, like, clear way. And go from there. I'd keep asking yourself along the way, like, alright, how's this team coming along? What am I looking weak to? What are some ways I could adapt to that? And don't be scared to get on ladder and lose like 5 games in a row. It just means you gotta go back to the builder, look at your replays, see what was beating me down. Is this a skill issue where I was just getting, outplayed? Or is this like legitimately, oh, I have no way ever of checking this, or at least no consistent way ever of checking this? I mean, Danny, honestly, that's a lot of it. You just throw darts at the team builder, and you're like, alright, what's sticking? It's not this process that needs to be gotten right on the first try, and it probably won't get gotten right on the first try. You're more than likely to build a bad team on your first attempt than a good team. Then we got Anton XF1LL, I think that's the name there. 2 questions. Where are my roots? Where do I come from? And why am I in the German chat room? Another person asking why I know some Deutsch. Ja, ich spreche nur ein bisschen Deutsch, aber... Ach Gott, es ist ziemlich gut genug. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, I've been speaking German, or learning German for about 10 years. And lately, I mean, I was learning German in school for like 6.5. And anything past that's just me looking stuff up when I need to. And, I mean, as he notes, I'm in the German chat room. So, we got a pretty good idea of German that way. It's just, you practice it with people that know it. They can give you feedback. And thankfully, like, I don't always... When I'm chatting, I don't necessarily just speak the German that I know offhand. I will look up stuff as I'm typing to people because I think that makes a lot more sense. I'll look up things they say that I don't fully understand, so I have a better idea. Sometimes the translations you'll get off of, you know, whatever resource you use aren't the best, because context matters. There are some words that have wildly different meanings based on where they're being used, so you gotta use it smart. Eli Ross, 96, 93, asking, why or how did I decide to become an NU tier leader? Well, they had no one else, so they reached out to the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and thankfully, my dying wishes were to become an NUTL. On a real note, I was already in NU Council, and that's basically a prerequisite to being a tier leader, because it shows that you've got the meta-knowledge to, obviously, you know, do active tiering, which the tiering council is responsible for. And since I have the leadership experience being also the leader of the grammar team on Smogon, there's not the worries of like, oh, but can he be a leader? Yes, obviously. And I've also been doing a lot of work for NU just for years at this point, so it helps that I'm a very well-known community member. They're not promoting someone out of the blue or anything. Noah Bobino, 7340, asking, what makes me like NU more than other lower tiers? I'm gonna be honest, this just happened because I was playing NU in Gen 7, and I vibed with it more. Like, it was the tier that I was having the most fun with. And I just kind of stuck around because the community's been good. Ain't too much deeper than that. BB8 NU for 8 UTL win. That's a good question. Hopefully when Eternally and I retire, we can finally install BB8 as the supreme overlord of NU. Alright, Changa Mac asking the top 10 baddest bitches on the planet, Rabia edition. Well, I think my girlfriend would shoot me if I answered this question. So I'm going to just say that I acknowledged it. But, I have eyes for one woman, and that is her. Wow, that's a long username. Anders Christian Dalgard, 3419. Why do I enjoy playing NU in any gen? Once again, it just comes down to me being like, yeah, this tier is fun. I like the community. I win games when I play. So I play NU. Big up, Big Shot, Big Shoe to 5084 saying maybe some rip-off Rizai videos. Why Sandaconda is owning this metagame, minimum 5 red arrows in capital text. You know what's crazy is, didn't I do a Sandaconda video during this month? I think when I was gone, I had a Sandaconda upload go out. I also saw some dude say that I didn't explain it very well, and I'm like, thinking to myself after the fact, I think I said just about everything that makes Sandaconda good. What more do you want? Maybe I didn't have enough red arrows in the video. You never know. Some random dude named Awin asking when our next collab is. Never. Never. Ooh, a 100 Thieves fan asking when I'm coming back to Cap the top. Thank you, Robbie Anucci. I will come back to Cap once the Cap community needs me, but right now, I am not returning until that dumb book is no longer S rank. Hello, Andrea Delucha. One of those I hope is right. Will I make SCL content, Danny? Probably. I'll at least cover games that I find interesting. I don't know if I'll do complete week recaps. That's kind of just contingent on how I feel. That's kind of just, yeah, it just depends on the mood. I gotta see, once I watch the first week of games, how exciting they were. Because if overall they just kind of were boring snooze fests of balance versus balance, I might feel like, okay, no one wants to watch this. But if I see some innovation, then yeah, I'll cover it. Am I going to feature you in a live using one of your incredible teams? Yeah. I used Combi in a live for you before Lucario. I thought I paid my dues, paid my debts. But I guess not. Skim B. Oh, we're getting some weird ass questions at the end. What the hell's this? Would I eat a Pokemon for free? No. No. Pay me. Pay me all of your money that you have. Pay my college tuition. Did I not use Combi? I'm almost certain I did. Well, that's a damn shame, isn't it? That's a damn shame. This isn't even a question. This is just Gardevoir video if I can. Which I think means use Gardevoir in a video, and not instead a video talking about Gardevoir, asking why I love it so much. Amelia, I hope you just meant use Gardevoir in a video, which I might have done. Let's check. Hold on. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at my Steve Harvey here. NSFW Steve Harvey? Incredible. I love these question, what's it called? There's just the funny answer compilations. I feel like those are really fun. So let's see. Didn't I use Gardevoir in one of these videos? It might not even be the featured mon, but I thought I used it in a RU video with Sun, right? Oh yeah, here's Sandaconda. Yeah, I was gonna say, did I use it in like H-type? Yeah, right here. There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Also, yeah, members only, by the way. So if you are interested in being a member, you get exclusive content. Isn't that great? You also get very unserious titles and thumbnails from me. There is no... we are not trying to make it professional. And the last comment we got here from Supreme Chaos Being 2696. Why Inu specifically and not like Ari or Pu? It's the same answer we have given to every other question that was this one. I just like the Pokemon and community. That's really it. You know, if Ryu had a welcoming community, you know, if Yu had promoted me to voice at some point, I'm sure I would have joined Yu. Because I was actually very frequently involved in the Yu room at a point in Gen 7 as well. So there is a timeline where I am playing Yu. Instead, this is the timeline where I'm the NUTL. And I get to decide whether or not we ban, what's a borderline broken Pokemon? Toxicroak. Yeah, I get to decide whether or not we ban Toxicroak. Don't test me. We might have Toxicroak forever. But yeah, looks like that's all the questions. Nice. I'll refresh this once, just in case there was another question. Nope, good. Got them all. UUTL timeline would be pretty scary. I'm almost certain in that timeline, Scizor is banned in one of the UU gens. It should have been banned in Gen 7 along with like Latios, Terrakia, and Mega Altaria. I will die on that hill. Ain't a damn chance you're convincing me that the tier where Scizor runs HP Fire to check opposing Scizor, or where Magneton is UU for no reason other than trapping Scizor, you're not going to convince me that Pokemon is balanced. You just won't. There's no world where you justify Scizor being legal in Gen 7. That is one of the biggest missed opportunities, and in large part, it seems UU in Gen 7 tiered a bit passively because they were worried about, like, running out of time, which I totally get. Just kind of sucks because I do think there are some mons from my experience there that, yeah, they probably were a little bit over the top. As long as people enjoy the tier, I mean, at the end of the day, who cares? I ain't gonna be the one to push for no damn, you know, banning of stuff, but it did seem like maybe they could have done more. Maybe. But I hope y'all enjoyed the Q&A. Isn't Gen 7 UUBL already huge? I honestly have no clue. Let's find out. Let's get to the... Alright, so we got Sun and Moon. We go to formats. We go to UUBL. So, oh, wow. I'll read off everything in UUBL from Gen 7. We have Alakazam, Breloom, Buzzwole, Conkeldurr, Diggersby, Dragonite, Mega Gallade, Mega Gardevoir, Gyarados, Mega Heracross, Hoopa Unbound, Latios, Mega Latios, Alolan Ninetales, Mega Pinsir, Porygon Z, Quagsire, Salamence, Scolipede, Staraptor, Thundurus, Thundurus Therian, Mega Venusaur, Weavile, and Xurkitree. Yeah, we got a, you know, pretty small ban list. Not much banned at all. Nope. Pretty conservative. That's insane, though. Holy. Yeah, Quagsire getting banned specifically because it made Stall, unpleasant. I think that's really funny. I definitely like that, though. Big Stall finally being held accountable for their EPA violations. You'd love to see it. But I think this is where we're going to end the stream. A bit on the short end compared to what I normally do. I will indeed try to stream again in the near future. Maybe when we get the drops, I'll have to, because these drops are going to be pretty sizable. I just don't know if they're going to be significant. But it seems like a good excuse too, so I'll go for it. I hope everyone enjoyed. Of course, if you tuned in late, the little stream VOD will be public shortly after I conclude the stream. So you can watch that and catch up where you'd like. Once again, I know he left a while ago. Shouts Vegeta for the gifting of the 2 members. So expect me to do a video soon on expect me to do a video soon on us wow. LC Pokemon and NU. I'm going to use a ton of them. And they're not going to be the good ones. Like, I'm going to try and win with stuff like, I don't know, Smoliv? Just some trash. There will be no treasure. Thank y'all for watching, though. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.